The Anderson Group's annual executive party sparkled with success at the Ritz-Carlton penthouse. Through the floor-to-ceiling windows, Manhattan's skyline served as a backdrop for what my sister Emma called the most exclusive corporate event of the year. I adjusted my worn MIT hoodie, watching security stop another underdressed employee at the elevator. Emma had made the dress code clear: designer suits only, no exceptions. Especially for her unemployed sister, Sarah. Emma's voice dripped with fake concern as she approached. This event is for executives only. You know, people with real jobs. She gestured to her Chanel suit, recently purchased with her senior VP bonus. Behind her, I could see Mom and Dad holding court with the board members, proudly discussing their daughter's rapid rise through corporate ranks. Their other daughter? The one in the hoodie? Just another failed tech dreamer. Actually, I started, but Emma cut me off. Security, she called out. We have an unauthorized guest. 2 guards approached as my quantum-linked ID badge slipped from my hoodie pocket, clattering to the marble floor. Emma smirked, probably remembering all the times she'd bragged about her executive access while I wasted time building quantum computing systems. The security chief's radio crackled. All units, the new global CEO is arriving. Full protocol alert. Perfect timing, Emma preened. The board's choice for CEO is about to be announced. I hear I'm on the shortlist. I bent down to retrieve my dropped badge just as Dad approached, champagne in hand. Emma, darling, the board wants to discuss your future role. He froze, spotting me. Sarah? This is a private event. You can't just. Can't what? I straightened up, holding my badge. Attend my own company party. The quantum-enhanced ID glowed softly, its holographic surface displaying my new title, Sarah Chen, Global Chief Executive Officer, Quantum Dynamics Corporation. Emma's champagne glass slipped from her fingers. Impossible, she whispered. The board chose the company that owns controlling interest in Anderson Group, I finished. Quantum Dynamics acquired your prestigious corporation last month. Through shell companies, of course. Didn't want to spoil the surprise. The security chief stared at my badge, face draining of color. I apologize, we didn't realize that the new CEO wears hoodies. I smiled. Or that while my sister was climbing the corporate ladder, I was building the company that would own it. Dad's hands shook slightly around his glass. Quantum Dynamics, the tech giant that's been buying up traditional companies, is run by your unemployed daughter, I confirmed. Amazing what you can build while people underestimate you. My phone buzzed, probably more acquisition alerts as my quantum systems identified profitable targets. But right now, I was focused on watching my family realize that their exclusive executive party was being hosted by the daughter they tried to remove. The acquisitions, Emma said slowly, her corporate strategy training finally kicking in. The mysterious tech company buying up traditional businesses. All through quantum-enhanced analytics, I nodded. The same technology you mocked when I tried to explain it at last year's executive retreat. The room had gone very quiet, executives frantically checking their phones as news of the acquisition spread. I could see their expressions shift as they found the details. Quantum Dynamics, market cap $240 billion, revolutionizing traditional industries through quantum computing. But your apartment, Mom stammered, clutching her designer purse. That tiny place above the coffee shop is actually Quantum's first quantum computing lab, I replied. Those video games you heard through the walls? Acquisition algorithms running market simulations. The waste of time Dad complained about? Building systems that just bought his company. The security chief's radio crackled again, all executives to the main hall. CEO announcement in 5 minutes. Perfect. I checked my quantum display. Just in time to discuss the restructuring. Restructuring. Emma's voice cracked. What restructuring? Of Anderson Group's leadership, I pulled up the new org chart on my tablet. Traditional management hierarchies are remarkably inefficient. Quantum analysis suggests some significant changes. Dad stepped forward, still holding his company president's badge. Sarah, about your position in the company. You mean my ownership of it? I corrected. Funny how things work out. All All those times you pushed me to join the real business world. Turns out I was building something bigger than Anderson Group could imagine. The quantum displays around the room flickered to life, showing Quantum Dynamics' global reach. Emma's proud corporate empire suddenly looked very small compared to the technology empire I'd built while they weren't paying attention. The board meeting, Mom said quietly. Tomorrow morning. Will be interesting, I agreed. Especially when the new owner explains why traditional corporate structures are obsolete in the quantum age. The security team had formed an unconscious honor guard around me, their earlier dismissal replaced by anxious deference. Through the windows, I could see news vans arriving. Someone had leaked the acquisition. Ladies and gentlemen, the PA system announced, please welcome our new Global Chief Executive Officer. Emma clutched her Senior VP badge, probably realizing how quickly corporate hierarchies can change. Dad stared at his president's credentials, understanding flooding his face as he finally connected the dots. All those board meetings I missed, I said, heading toward the stage. The family events I skipped. I was a little busy building the future of business. But don't worry, I'm sure we'll have plenty of time to catch up during the restructuring. The Ritz-Carlton's grand ballroom had transformed from an executive celebration into something entirely different. The once proud Anderson Group leadership huddled in corners, whispering anxiously as quantum displays showed their company's integration into my global network. Traditional efficiency metrics are fundamentally flawed, I announced from the podium, watching Emma's corporate strategy presentation become increasingly irrelevant with each new data point. Quantum analysis reveals. Sarah, Dad interrupted from his front row seat, his company president pin suddenly looking very small. About the management structure. Is being optimized, I continued, nodding to Lisa, who activated the main quantum interface. The screens filled with real-time corporate performance data. Decades of traditional business practices analyzed and reconstructed through quantum computing. As you can see, I gestured to the efficiency metrics. Anderson Group's current hierarchy operates at roughly 23% of potential capacity. Quantum modeling suggests a complete reorganization. Emma's designer heel tapped nervously against the marble floor. As Senior VP of Strategy, she'd spent years crafting the very systems my quantum computers had just deemed obsolete. The executive positions, she started, but her voice faltered as the new organizational chart appeared on screen. Are being redefined, I finished. Turns out fancy titles and corner offices matter less than actual innovation. Speaking of which, I pulled up the personnel files on my quantum display. Let's discuss your department's resistance to technological advancement. Mom clutched Dad's arm as performance metrics filled the screens, every executive decision, every missed opportunity, every dismissal of new technology laid bare by quantum analysis. The acquisition terms, Dad said quietly, we should discuss. Like you discussed my career options. I replied. All those times you pushed me toward traditional business paths while I was building quantum systems that would revolutionize corporate management. Lisa appeared with more updates. Global integration proceeding ahead of schedule. Anderson's systems are being quantum enhanced as we speak. The displays showed the transformation in real time, old databases upgrading, traditional processes restructuring, decades of business practice evolving in minutes through quantum optimization. Your quarterly projections, I turned to Emma, whose proud financial models now seemed quaint compared to quantum analytics. The ones you presented this morning? My systems processed 10 years of market data while you were rehearsing your speech. She stared at her carefully prepared slides, now hopelessly outdated by quantum computing. The executive committee, Dad ventured, probably thinking of his weekly leadership meetings, is being replaced by quantum-enhanced decision matrices, I confirmed. Computers don't care about golf club memberships or Ivy League degrees. They care about results. The screens pulsed with more data, productivity soaring, inefficiencies eliminated, corporate performance accelerating beyond traditional metrics. The executives watched in silence as their business world transformed through quantum optimization. My phone buzzed, more Fortune 500 companies begging for quantum integration. Next to those notifications, a message from Mom, please don't dismantle your father's legacy. Legacy? I looked up at the quantum displays showing global corporate evolution. Dad's legacy was maintaining traditional hierarchies. My legacy will be revolutionizing how business actually works. The security chief approached with new quantum-enhanced badges for the remaining executives. Emma's hands shook slightly as she surrendered her senior VP credentials. Welcome to the quantum age of business, I announced, watching my family's corporate empire transform into just another node in my global network, where innovation matters more than tradition, and results matter more than titles. The morning board meeting felt surreal. Anderson Group's mahogany-paneled boardroom, once the symbol of corporate power, now seemed quaint beneath the glow of quantum displays showing global business metrics. Final integration phase complete, Lisa reported, as the last of Anderson's traditional systems merged with my quantum network. All corporate operations now running at quantum-enhanced efficiency. Dad sat in his old chair, no longer at the head of the table, staring at performance data that made his previous achievements look like a small-town operation. Emma clutched her new mid-level manager badge, her corporate strategy expertise rendered obsolete by quantum analytics. As you can see, I gestured to the real-time metrics. Traditional business models waste approximately 77% of potential resources. Our quantum systems have already identified. Sarah, Mom interrupted from her observer's seat. The executive dining room staff, some of them have worked here for decades, have been reassigned to more efficient roles, I completed her thought. Quantum analysis showed that maintaining separate dining facilities for executives cost us $2.3 million annually while reducing interdepartmental collaboration by 42%. Emma's phone buzzed, probably more of her former executive team discovering their new positions in the quantum-enhanced hierarchy. The corner offices, Dad said quietly, watching movers transform his prestigious executive floor into an open quantum workspace, are being converted to collaborative innovation centers, I confirmed. Amazing how much productivity increases when you remove artificial barriers. Speaking of which, I pulled up the new corporate structure on the quantum displays. The screens filled with Quantum Dynamics Global Organization, a neural network of interconnected teams, all optimized through quantum computing. Anderson Group's traditional hierarchy appeared as a small node, being rapidly transformed by my algorithms. Your management training program, I turned to Emma, whose proud leadership development system now seemed archaic. The one you presented at last month's executive retreat? My quantum computers identified 14 critical flaws while you were showing the first slide. She stared at her corporate strategy binder, probably realizing how quickly business evolution can make expertise irrelevant. The annual executive gala, Mom ventured, likely thinking of her carefully planned social calendar. Budget redirected to employee development, I nodded to Lisa, who displayed the cost-benefit analysis. Turns out investing in people matters more than executive parties. Though I admit, I smiled slightly, there's some irony in cancelling the event that once wouldn't let me attend. The quantum screens pulsed with more transformations, organizational barriers dissolving, traditional hierarchies evolving, corporate culture shifting through quantum-optimized changes. Dad watched his business world reconstruct itself around technologies he'd once dismissed. Your sister's innovations, he said softly to Emma, the ones we ignored, are now driving global business evolution, I finished. Funny how wasting time with computers turned out to be more valuable than all those executive leadership courses. My phone buzzed, more global corporations begging for quantum integration. The business world was finally catching up to what I'd seen coming years ago. The future of business, I announced to the room, isn't in corner offices or executive titles. It's in quantum computing, artificial intelligence, and technologies that maximize human potential. The displays showed another efficiency surge as more quantum protocols activated. Emma's corporate strategy certifications lay forgotten on the table, overshadowed by algorithms that could process decades of business theory in seconds. Welcome to the real business world, I concluded, watching my family's prestigious corporate legacy transform into something they'd never imagined, where innovation outranks tradition, and results matter more than titles. The Leadership Development Conference, Emma spoke up suddenly. Next week in Dubai. All the major executives are expecting. Has been replaced. I pulled up the quantum analytics. While you were planning networking events, my systems designed an AI-driven leadership program that's already increased management efficiency by 300%. The displays shifted to show real-time learning metrics, thousands of employees evolving their skills through quantum-enhanced training, making traditional executive conferences look like social clubs. But the connections, Dad protested. The relationships we've built are being optimized, I nodded to Lisa, who activated another simulation. Quantum analysis shows that 82% of your strategic partnerships were actually limiting innovation. Speaking of which, the screens filled with global collaboration data, companies worldwide connecting through quantum networks that made old-school business relationships obsolete. The corporate retreat center, Mom said quietly, probably thinking of the prestigious mountain lodge where Anderson executives had networked for generations, is being converted to a quantum research facility, I confirmed. Though I admit, there's some satisfaction in transforming the place that once rejected my technology proposals into a hub for quantum innovation. Emma's phone buzzed again, more global corporations abandoning traditional business models for quantum integration. Next to those notifications, her carefully crafted executive development plans looked increasingly irrelevant. Your sister's vision, Dad said to her, watching his business empire transform. The one we dismissed as impractical is now the future of global commerce, I finished. Amazing what can happen when you look beyond traditional corporate thinking. The quantum displays pulsed with more transformations, every aspect of business evolving through systems I'd built while my family clung to outdated methods. The future isn't about executive titles or corner offices, I concluded, watching decades of corporate tradition dissolve into quantum-enhanced efficiency. It's about innovation, optimization, and understanding that success doesn't always wear a designer suit.